Welcome to the latest in our Picks and Ponderings video preview series. I'm Paul Major of Picks and Ponderings, joined on the program tonight by Nicole Newlist. Nicole, where are you?
I'm at Hawthorne. Thanks for asking. You know, the upstairs jockey and I at Hawthorne love it so much here that we came here for the card, stayed here to handicap the stakes races, and are broadcasting live from the press box at Hawthorne Racecourse.
Well, it's a good thing you're broadcasting from the Hawthorne press box because it's the biggest and richest race of the Hawthorne Fall Meet coming up on Saturday. And before we get into that, we'd like to wish all of our readers and video viewers at Picks and Ponderings a happy Thanksgiving and a happy holiday. We'll also remind that we'll still be doing video previews, like solo previews or that have been done for prior races, or this joint preview done with the partner in crime, Nicole Newlist. Previews that involve me are going to be by video. Lousy hand. But we will be using written previews for races that Nicole does. So be sure to check that out as we've listened to your feedback and tried to adjust things as we can. But this Thanksgiving weekend, we've got Nicole out at Hawthorne. I'm in the command center, and we're looking at the richest race of Hawthorne's fall meet, the $250,000 Grade 2 Hawthorne Gold Cup, which for the third straight year gets contested around Thanksgiving, as opposed to about a 10-year stay in early October, and back before that was actually a race in mid-November. The Hawthorne Gold Cup has seen some purse reductions through the years, but it's seen a fair share of some quality winners. Past Hawthorne Stakes namesake like Royal Glint, a current Santa Anita Stakes namesake like Awesome Again, a champion and current Illinois Stakes namesake in Black Tie Affair, a double winner in Crypto Clearance. They've all gotten trophies from Hawthorne Racecourse for their exploits in the Gold Cup. And this year's Gold Cup goes on the 28th of November, the Saturday of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Carded as the 8th of 10 races at Hawthorne, post time at 5:45 Central. It's a mile and a quarter on the dirt, Nicole. A field of 8 to break to go all the way down Hawthorne's long stretch and then a lap around. 10 furlongs. Let's dive into the Gold Cup, Nicole.
Sounds like a plan. But most important things first. Sir, what do you have to say about the Hawthorne Gold Cup? Nothing? Okay, that's a little creepy that he just keeps looking at me. So back to you, Paul.
Thanks for letting me know about the lawn jockey's input in this. Well, I'm curious what that lawn jockey thinks about the morning line favorite in the Hawthorne Gold Cup. The 9-5 morning line favorite is Commissioner. And for Commissioner, this is sort of a going away party. Windstar Farm owns Commissioner, and they've said that he's going to go off to a stud career next year. He's 9-5 on the morning line, and I'm sorry. I know I'm going to get berated for chomping chalk, but this race is 10 furlongs, and at any sort of long distance race, it's the Commissioner for me. Nicole, can you talk me off him?
No, I really can't. I remember last year when we did our back and forth on the Belmont, I was so against Commissioner, and you talked me on him, and I cashed some nice place and show money on him as a result. Here, I can't talk you off of him because I'm eating the chalk with Commissioner too. He'll be forwardly placed but doesn't have to lead. He's a perfect 2 for 2 at the distance, and his two graded he has 2 graded stakes wins at 1 mile and 3/16, the Preakness distance. He's he's built for this classic distance. He's proven he always shows up. He can take a show on the road. Like, he's won at Pimlico. He did well at Belmont last year, just got nailed by Tonalist. And the connections, yeah. Todd Pletcher and Florent Giroux are going to get bet, but I think they have the goods here.
Another thing, I'm gonna, like I said, I asked you to talk me off him, and all you did was firm up the argument. But yes, I'm putting Commissioner on top in here. Here's another thing to consider as food for thought, and that's Todd Pletcher. People talk about Pletcher whenever he goes to Hawthorne, or Pletcher whenever he goes to certain tracks. But Pletcher, when he goes to Hawthorne, is sneaky good. He's won the 60 sales before. He's won the Illinois Derby before, and he's won the Hawthorne Gold Cup. He won it with Fairbanks back. He won it with Fairbanks.
And he won it last year with Red Rifle.
Even better. So even better. When Pletcher brings his sort of, and I know it sometimes gets berated as the B team, but he picks good spots for his runners that fit at Hawthorne, and he comes away with cash and a trophy.
And
I mean,
that's exactly what it looks like here. Commissioner is known good at the distance. He can take a show on the road. He gets a sharp jockey in Florent Giroux, who's won his share of races, not just on the Chicago circuit in general, but at Hawthorne specifically. He's going to be chalk. He's going to be so chalk. But sometimes handicapping isn't going to be glamorous. Sometimes it's just finding the chalk that's the goods, and Commissioner looks so the goods here.
You said Florent Giroux. Didn't he win last year's Hawthorne Gold Cup on Red Rifle?
Yes, in fact, for one Todd Pletcher.
So it's connections you can know and trust. Here's more connections you can know and trust, and that's Lovenbach Stables and Chris Block making what feels like his 37th appearance in the Hawthorne Gold Cup. Okay, it's not that many, but this will be the swan song for another horse, and that's Mr. Mardi Gras, who's earned $1 million bit by bit over his career, and goes here in the Hawthorne Gold Cup. A race he was second in last year behind Red Rifle, and he's hit the board in some past exploits. I'm going to be tabbing him second here, despite the move to E.T. Baird. I'm curious who you've got second here, because for me, trying to find what goes under Commissioner was a challenge.
I agree that was a challenge. Commissioner was a pretty clear top choice. I actually do have Mr. Mardi Gras slotted third. He's been second the last 2 years and was fourth the 2 years before that. He's been a consummate undersides type this year, and I don't necessarily think Mr. Mardi Gras is going to win his Hawthorne Gold Cup swan song unless Commissioner falters or somebody really goes with him and forces the pace, but Block's going to have Mr. Mardi Gras cranked, and Mr. Mardi Gras should finish in the money in this race. That said, I have him slotted third, and second, I have the rail-drawn horse, Majestic Harbor. A couple of things I really like about Majestic Harbor. I find it interesting that Cisco Torres has shipped out to ride. Yes, he's not Majestic Harbor's regular rider, but when Cisco Torres has been shipping to Hawthorne to ride horses, he wins. And Majestic Harbor is the only mount that he's got all day, so it's a pretty safe bet that he's coming in specifically to ride Majestic Harbor in the Hawthorne Gold Cup. He's also got a Grade 1 win at the 1.25 mile distance of the Hawthorne Gold Cup. He won the Gold Cup at Santa Anita last year, so he's shown some ability to go the distance. He's also got some pace versatility to him. He can win on the front, contested pace sort of thing, or he can rally from mid-pack. I kind of expect the latter here because there are enough horses who like to be forward a little more than Majestic Harbor does. That said, He comes in second off of a little freshening. He hit the board in the marathon last out, going 1.75 miles, dials back to 1.25 miles here, a distance at which he's won, and gets a very sharp Cisco Torres in the irons. So that's my second slot, is the number 1 Majestic Harbor, with Mr. Mardi Gras, the number 6, slotted third. Paul?
Well, you slotted Mr. Mardi Gras third and looked to that marathon grade 2 at Keeneland for your second choice. I too am looking to the marathon for the other horse to complete my top 3. No, I'm not picking Majestic Harbor. This will not be another bingo bango bongo play. I'm instead going to look at Neck and Neck. This Neck and Neck draws the 4, Chris Landeros to ride for Ian Wilkes. Whatever Ian Wilkes decided to do after picking up a number of minor awards this year seemed to have worked, and that was going long. He won the 3-turn 1.5 mile Greenwood Cup at Parks, 3 back, and did it while forward, but not leading at every call and going wire to wire. And he franked that long distance form when he was third behind your second choice Majestic Harbor in the grade 2 marathon on the BC Friday undercard. Sandwiched in between is a second in a quirky 1 mile race at Keeneland. I'm not really going to put too much stock into that 1 mile race because I think they just ran that race just to get some experimental use at the mile distance before Liam's map decided to run off with the BC Dirt Mile and new track record time. But the idea with Neck and Neck is that he's gonna be forward, but he's not forward cheap speed. He's not forward speed in the sense of Ford Dubai, where he's not forward speed like a Ford Dubai, who after about furlong 8.5 or 9 is going to be wheezing and looking for an oxygen tank. He at least can be forward for 9+ furlongs, like a Commissioner, like other horses, and I expect him to be in. If Commissioner throws a bad race, maybe Neck and Neck is the one who's the best beneficiary, or perhaps Neck and Neck sort of chases around Commissioner and runs evenly in the minor slots. I'm still thinking that I'm looking at Neck and Neck to be on the lead and be around when they turn for home and go down that long Hawthorne stretch.
Yeah, I can't talk you off Neck and Neck. But like you said before, it was difficult to land on who to slot under Commissioner in a way that landing on Commissioner was not the most difficult thing in the world. I considered Neck and Neck. I just liked a little more about Majestic Harbor and Mr. Mardi Gras. Of course, Neck and Neck will probably not be the longest price in the world, and he's not my long shot either. For the long shot, I'm going to look to the Inform Local trademark, and that is the number 3, Valiant City, for trainer Scott Becker. Yeah, Valiant City hasn't tried graded stakes company before, and even his outings earlier in the year in the State Bred Stakes, or late last year and earlier this year, last year's best boy this year is Milwaukee Avenue. Maybe not the best, but at the age of 5, he's turned a corner. He's been on fire through the Arlington meet and into the Hawthorne meet and won his last 3, including last out he won 1 16 miles in a classy allowance optional and won by daylight over the likes of Treasury Bill and Love Bandit. He's even beaten Mr. Mardi Gras a couple of times recently. Mr. Mardi Gras was 4th in that race and was 3rd in a race in Arlington, won by who? Valiant City. He's firing on all cylinders. He can send, he can stalk, he can even do that weird thing where if he sends and someone else ends up passing him, okay, fine, I'll sit back and make a second run at you. It's not a bad thing to see in a horse who is going 1.25 miles in a field where there are plenty of horses who look like they can be forwardly placed, but nobody to me screams have to be on the front, definitely going to set the fractions. Yes, on the morning line, Valiant City is actually slightly shorter than Mr. Mardi Gras, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case, particularly since Mr. Mardi Gras has been second in this race the last couple of times. He's a little better known, kind of a local favorite, and he's probably going to take quite a bit of money. Valiant City, less so. He's a little more under the radar type horse, despite the monster summer and fall that he's had. There's also some suggestion he'll get the distance. City Zip on top. Sure, the average winning distance isn't that great, but remember, City Zip is pretty versatile. Think back to the Breeders' Cup in 2014. Yeah, he sired Work All Week, who won the sprint, but he also sired Day at the Spa, who won the filly and mare turf going route distance. Underneath, he's out of a Lord Avy mare, and that should also give him some stamina. Given his current form, I'm willing to go with my old friends Scott Becker and Chris Amy with the number 3 Valiant City as my long shot in the Hawthorne Gold Cup.
I'm going to keep up a similar motif for my Hawthorne Gold Cup long shot and go with an old friend. Number 8, Street Spice at 15-1 on the morning line. Street Spice has been will make his 3rd straight appearance in the Hawthorne Gold Cup. In 2013, he cracked the podium. And in 2014, he caught a forwardly favoring track that did him no favors. The form on Street Spice might look a little bit suspect, but keep in mind that after he went down to Greg Geyer's barn at Fairgrounds in the spring, he had a start in February, was vanned off after the race and disappeared with injuries. It was actually to a point where he was at the LSU. He was actually in LSU's Equine Hospital for a little bit of time. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a mullet. I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass for when he came back and was 3rd in a minor stakes at Prairie Meadows in the summertime. Street Spice has always been a dirt horse. Dirt with a capital D and nothing else, which means 2 back that run at Arlington over the Poly against Valiant City. I'm going to look at it as a wash. It's a toss race, and Street Spice is also the kind of a horse who really should be running in 50,000 stakes, but the Arlington and Hawthorne Stakes program don't really support those kinds of stakes, considering he's not an Illinois bred. There's no owner stakes at Hawthorne that would probably hit him right between the eyes. So he kind of has to make do with this or go to Indiana and run in whatever 3 other than allowance comes up. Or go to a place like Keeneland, run into the likes of Street Strategy and Neck that are graded types and finish 6th. But keep in mind that was at the 1 mile distance, which he was in post 6 at a 1 mile distance. Remember back to Liam's map in that race and how anything in the outer posts was doomed? Wait a minute. Street Spice was in an outside post. He was doomed. I'm going to give him I might be giving an old friend too many excuses. But keep in mind this is a horse who loves the Hawthorne surface. 6 podium finishes and 9 career starts. I'm getting Tim Thornton to ride, and Tim Thornton always floats around at the top of the rider standings at Hawthorne, and if I'm getting him to ride, and I'm getting double-digit odds, which he probably will be in the light of Valiant City getting money, in the light of Mr. Mardi Gras getting some money, in the light of Commissioner taking money off his 9 to 5 morning line status, one more time with feeling, Street Spice in the Hawthorne Gold Cup as a long shot.
So just to recap, in the Saturday's Hawthorne Gold Cup, on top, I have number 7, Commissioner. Underneath, I have slotted the number 1, Majestic Harbor, and the number 6, Mr. Mardi Gras, with my long shot, the Informed Local, number 3, Valiant City.
For me in the Grade 2 Hawthorne Gold Cup on Saturday at Hawthorne, I too am taking Commissioner on top, the number 7, over the number 6, Mr. Mardi Gras, slotting number 4 neck and neck third, the long shot for me, number 8, Street Spice.
Thank you so much for listening to our video preview of the Hawthorne Gold Cup, and good luck on Saturday.